So welcome everybody to our Upscale Success Strategies webinar, and we're very excited to have you here. Those of you who are already members of our program, welcome. Those of you who are joining us for the first time, I do want to let you know that we have a it's called the Upscale Success Strategies membership program. And if you're fortunate enough to be joining us live, the program is still being offered at no charge. However, there will be a point in time where we are going to be charging for the subscription for this. But we are so pleased that you're here today. And I'm going to introduce myself, and then I'm going to introduce my special guest. So I'm 𝐂𝐬𝐊𝐶. This is my photo, and my business, my company is called Upscale Your Business. And I provide virtual executive assistance and social media strategy. I specialize in helping professional coaches and consultants to systematize their business, maximize visibility, and attract your ideal clients. And I'm really pleased to have Mark 𝐂𝐬𝐊𝐶 here as my recurring and ongoing guest. And I'm going to go ahead and put on his slide and give you a little introduction here to Mark. Mark 𝐂𝐬𝐊𝐶 is the president and owner of Release Dynamics, releasedynamics.com. And he specializes in helping entrepreneurs make sense of what the internet can do for their business, establish an online presence, and gain more traffic, leads, and sales. And I can tell you personally, Mark has helped my business tremendously. And I'm always just so pleased to share Mark with this group. So Mark, welcome.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. I'm going to go ahead and stop my slides and let you share your screen. So give us a moment while we transition that.
Okay, so I'm going to screen share with you our topic for this month. And can everybody see my screen all right?
I can see your screen. Everybody, if you can see the screen, please put a 1 in the chat, and we'll go with that. I'm seeing some 1, so we're good.
Great. And that's a little trick we do with our webinars. If you haven't been on our webinars before, a little shortcut that I learned from good associate and friend and mentor of mine, David Sprague, the idea of, hey, instead of typing in yes, just put 1. And if you want to say no, then put in a 2. Makes it quick and easy. So a little webinar trick there. And it's a pleasure to be here with you on this webinar. We're having a great time with the Success Strategies program. How many? I think this is month 5, is it, Jamie, or 6?
I think the live, yeah, we're still building out, but yeah, I think right as we are recording this, we're in about month 5. I think are all live modules. So yeah,
fantastic. And at the end of this, we're going to give you a link where you can go and join the membership program for free right now. Know that when you log in, there's already a really robust library. Obviously, there's 6 months worth of training in there, including lots of amazing bonuses, most of them free. That don't cost you anything, that you can take advantage of, some great education. And that's what this is all about. This is, not really about a sales pitch at all. This is all about content and giving you tools and strategies and techniques that you can put into play in your business. Obviously, we also introduce opportunities where we can do, something free for you. Then we invite you to do that, and you'll find that in the library, and also at the end of this we'll do that. And then sometimes we have things where we just simply can't give it away for free. There's just too much cost associated with it. But we try and give you just kind of a no-brainer offer where it's bare bones and we cover our costs. So just to be totally upfront and transparent on that. So let's dive in here. So the topic today is kind of somewhat of a controversial one. And one of the things that we're gonna do, and I want to encourage you to do, is to kind of think outside the box, because we've been all doing things a certain way for a long period of time. And what I want to encourage you to do is suspend your beliefs about anything you know about websites and online marketing, because it's changing so fast right now. Just to suspend those beliefs for a minute, put those on pause, and think deeply about the information that's going to be presented for you. And I wanted you to think, particularly, notice in your brain, in your body, in your mind, when something comes up that you kind of feel uncomfortable about, where you feel some resistance and you go, ooh, I don't know if I like that, or I disagree with that. Because typically that's a huge sign. That's where growth and learning occurs. Too often we spend time shaking our heads, nodding, and agreeing with things, and looking for everything that we agree with, and discounting and forgetting about those things we disagree with. And yet the opposite needs to be true. Growth comes from listening to, becoming aware of your blind spots. And those are things that you either didn't know about or that you were resisting. You were on the opposite side of the fence. So I want to encourage you to think about that, brush those judgments off of your shoulders and those little voices that are standing there speaking in your ear, and be open and think about those ideas. Okay, enough of the philosophy. Let's move on and talk about what we're going to talk about today, which is why most websites are now obsolete, in my opinion, and what you can do about it. And as Jamie said, my name is Mark Canty, and my organization is called Release Dynamics. We've been around since 1990. And our sole purpose, our vision, our mission is to help you release the full potential that lies within your business. So we take a holistic approach to marketing and strategy, and we believe that the seeds of success lie within your vision right from the very beginning. When you first had that aha moment and you open up your business, all the success is there. It's kind of like your genome, and it's there. We just need to help you. Oh,
Sorry,
and there's
interruption.
a dog. I don't know. He doesn't like what I said there. Did I upset him? Okay. So let me welcome you, and let me ask you a question. What is one of the most important online assets that every business needs? And Jamie, of course, I'm looking at my slide, so I can't see the chat. So if you could give me any feedback and answers to the question. By the way, I'm going to challenge all of you not to hide in the wings or to sit on the fence, but to participate with us today and to ask questions and to get involved. So what is one of the most important online assets every business needs? Pretty obvious question, really. Jamie, we getting any responses?
So I'm getting website. I'm getting LinkedIn profile.
Yeah, so there's a lot of assets, aren't there, out there that we need to be taking advantage of and using. And of course, you know, the answer is obvious. It's the topic of today's webinar, which is a website. So although all those other assets are important, if you know, LinkedIn profile, Facebook page, things like that, let's talk specifically about a website today. It is an asset of your business. Think of it as your digital storefront, your digital store, if you will. And how do you invite people in? Whether you're in e-commerce or not, it is your digital store, your digital office, your opportunity to meet and greet your guests and your prospects. So when somebody visits your website, I'm going to suggest that there are a number of things that they're going to want answered. They're going to have these questions in their mind, and they might not be what you would like them to be. This might be where you'll have resistance, and they might not be what you think. Many of us, I believe, live under this fantasy that everybody that visits my website wants to read all my content and learn about me. Wrong answer. That's not what they're looking for. What they're looking for is, will this solve my problem? Will this business solve my problem? Will this person solve my problem? I have a problem and I need it solved. Do I have to decide now? Is there something that's going to make me move forward? Are you going to push me or force me to move forward? Am I getting the very best, or do I need to compare to others? So how do I know that this is the best, this person is the best, this business is the best for solving my problem? Am I going to regret this? In other words, is there authority? Is there something that establishes this business as an authority in the marketplace, that they're not a scam, that they're not somebody that really isn't going to fulfill on their promises and what they say they're going to do? And lastly, am I getting good value for my investment? And how do I know that that's true? And can I find that out? So these are questions that are going on in a visitor's mind. The question that needs to be going on in your mind is, have I clearly and succinctly answered all of these questions and provided all of this information for my prospective visitor? I would suggest to you that the traditional websites that I see, and most likely your website as well, doesn't answer these questions. At least, even if it does answer these questions, it might not answer them in a nice, clear, quick fashion that the visitor really wants. So let's transition now and talk a little bit about some of the trends that are going to then come together again to answer those questions that people are looking for. And we'll bring this all together in terms of how you can fix this, what you can do. So the new trends in website marketing. 50% of all online traffic now comes from mobile devices. Now, if you're like me, you're in business, you spend a lot of your time, maybe all of your time, when you're doing your online work in front of a desktop computer. In fact, I have a beautiful 27-inch iMac. So I work on this lovely screen. And I have to remind myself that over half of most visitors to any client that I'm working for are not going to be seeing it on a 27-inch screen. They're going to be seeing it on another device. And in fact, over half of them are going to be seeing it on a very small device called a smartphone, or maybe even a tablet, or like a Samsung Note or something. But it's definitely going to be a different kind of device, and it's not going to look the same. So I need to be aware of that. And that's really, really important. Another new trend, 88% of consumers who search for a type of business on a mobile device call or go to that business within 24 hours. Now, that's an interesting thought, isn't it? If we're only marketing to people who visit our desktop, that's a different psychology. Think about people that, I'm not sure, you can probably see me in your screen, but people who are holding this computer, in their hand or in their pocket are going to behave differently. And there's a sense of urgency that's built in just by the fact that you're looking on a cell phone. In other words, you have the ability to make that call right then and there. The phone itself creates a sense of urgency. We've all been trained that way, haven't we? When the phone rings, do you feel that? Is there a sense of urgency to answer the phone? How many people think that they need to really rush and grab that phone no matter what, whether they're at home or at the office? Of course, at the office, it's very important, but even at home, we're conditioned like Pavlov's dog to go and answer that. So think about that in terms of the consumer that's looking for you on a device like a cell phone. New trends in marketing.
If I can just jump in here.
Yes.
I think that people, when they're looking at a website on a mobile device, like you're saying, they're a lot more likely, I think, to just go ahead and take some action. And if they have this lengthy, kind of clunky website to go through and dig through, it's a little bit of a detriment. Like I'll get to that later. I'll take a look at that site when I get home, maybe tomorrow, maybe next week, where when they're traveling and they see something that catches them, they're more likely to maybe take some action, purchase your product, your service, whatever. So yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's so true, Jamie. And when we think about that, they're ready to take action. So who's stopping them? Are they stopping themselves, or are we stopping them in the way that we're delivering information to them? And the other thing that you bring up there, which is a really valid point, is this idea that, I'll do it when I get home. Well, how many people remember? How many people, with all of the interruptions that happen, they've already forgotten about you by the time they click away. Worse yet, maybe they click on your competitor next, and that competitor is able to deliver the information and cause them to take action. Then you're completely forgotten and out of the loop.
Yeah, not good.
Some really important points. Thank you for bringing those up. So nearly 8 in 10 customers will stop engaging with content that doesn't display well on their device. So again, just like you said, Jamie, they're either going to just stop altogether and say, this is rubbish. I can't get what I'm looking for here. I'm going to move on. Or, in the most positive scenario, they're going to say, hey, I'll look at it when I get home, when I can get to a desktop, which is likely not going to happen. New Google research finds that 53% of mobile website visitors will leave if a web page doesn't load within 3 seconds. Now, for those of you who have done a speed test or a load test on your website, this might be really scary for you, because there's very few sites that will load that quickly. And again, this gets into the importance and the need of making sure that you're dynamic and that you're using strategies and you're updating all the time. So many people, think about this. If I want to ask this question to the group, how many of you built your website or had a website built more than a year ago and haven't done anything with it other than maybe add content? We got a few ones showing up there, Jamie.
Ones coming in.
Yeah. And, and a lot of people, I bet if I asked, would say, mine was 3, 4, 5 years ago. Well, the fact is, things are changing daily when it comes to search and algorithms and even consumer behavior in terms of smartphones and everything. So you're getting left behind, and that's why your website is obsolete. And, this is an important, statistic here, is that if we've got an old clunky site, it's not going to load quickly, and people are impatient. Again, that cell phone, that mobile device, or even their desktop for that matter, people have been trained to have shorter attention spans. So they want attention now. They want action now. They have that sense of urgency around them all the time.
And I'm always amazed, if I can just cut in real quick.
Of course.
When I look at, when I'm going to speak with a potential client, one of the first things I do is go to their website, and because we do sort of an audit of it.
Yes.
Have a consultation to have it be effective. One of the things that I notice a lot is that you talk about outdated, their copyright in the footer of their website, 2013,
yes,
2009, or, it's just completely outdated. It just, sometimes you could just tell by the look of a website when it's just, centered on the screen. that's
Yes.
an outdated website. But also in the footer, even more current websites that are full slider or full across, in the footer, I'm always amazed that you're not updating your copyright date.
Exactly.
People are
And that tells us how
doing-
often you're updating your content and how often even the mechanics, the back end of your website is being, if it's not always being, if you don't have a really good package with your provider that's constantly looking at the mechanics even of your website and advising you accordingly and making sure that the themes are being updated and things like that that are going to help keep the speed, then again, you're getting left in the dust. Think about it this way, that this would be akin to, when I talk about the idea that your website is your digital store, your store in the virtual world. Think about a store in the physical world. Think about those stores that you go into and they've gotten shabby over time. They haven't painted. There's things that are broken. The floor, maybe the carpet's dirty. And you just get that feeling, that yucky feeling, like you really don't want to do business there. Well, what is your digital presence doing? Is it not doing the same thing when you've let it get slow and dirty and bogged down and your content is old? It's exactly the same thing. So in fact, it's even more critical.
Selling products, we're also talking about your services. So we want to
Exactly. Yeah. We're not talking about e-commerce. We're talking about the impression that you create from, with people. Are you, particularly if you're a coach, are you on the leading edge? Are you on the cutting edge? Are you totally up to speed and up to date with the trends and what's going on in the marketplace? Well, if your website's 5 years old, has old content, looks 5 years old, and behaves 5 years old, what does that say about your practice? Might it be obsolete as well? These are things that we need to be thinking about. Almost 60% of users find mobile scrolling is more convenient with their thumb than clicking. So think about that for a minute and think about how you behave. Scrolling is now more natural. We've all been trained to do it. Why? Well, because first of all, we have cell phones and those are all about scrolling, right? And then not only that, but we also have platforms now that have trained us and have taken advantage of the scrolling technology. So Facebook, even e-commerce sites like Amazon and such are sites that are really taking advantage of that. And the idea that we're always scrolling and what's more convenient and what do people want to do? Do they want to surf around and click, click, click to find information? Or do they want it at their fingertips where, in a nanosecond, they can just swipe and the information is right there below the information that they're reading now. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So why is the number one thing a business needs not working? Why does it not work? Is my grammar correct there? Why the number one thing a business needs doesn't work? Yeah, my grammar's correct. Okay. So if we think about this, think about, when websites were created and even the internet for that matter. If you just pause for a minute and think about the history of the internet, it began as a research and resource tool for universities, for professors, and for students eventually. So it was never geared towards or oriented towards business. And yet the first websites that came out also fit in that category. So essentially, it only makes sense that it's obsolete and it doesn't work because it was based on principles and ideas that were all about gathering resource information, research information to do papers or whatever it happened to be, studies, as opposed to being a business tool. And what we need to do is catch up and realize that we need to take a different approach. So Webster's defines a website as a group of pages online that usually contain hyperlinks to each other that are devoted to a single topic or several closely related topics. And of course, that's how Google started their whole algorithm in search. That's how they determined who was going to rank first and still do, is based on hyperlinks. So if a lot of people talking about the same topic link to each other and there's a lot of links to one particular page, then that page gets ranked higher and in some cases gets ranked as number one. So it had nothing to do with business. It has nothing to do with giving people, solving problems for them. It was all based on research. And to this day, we're still finding and using websites that are based on this principle, which is truly obsolete when you think about, a consumer. So the problem is that websites are like brochures. So people took this idea, web designers, technicians took the idea and said, well, let's put a brochure online. This is how websites started. And really, what's a brochure all about? It's about, something that is to be read, to be browsed, to go through. But how many people, how many of you, let me ask this question, how many of you read brochures anymore even?
Yeah, I know I don't. And yeah, everybody's saying, nope, don't read them.
Yeah, we're getting some
Discussion.
twos.
Yeah.
So when you think about that, I like to tell the story back. I grew up in the marine business, and we used to go to boat shows to sell boats. And I remember going to a training once when I was, quite young, and it was great. It was a pre workshop just prior to the boat show starting. It was like a seminar, and man, I still remember the guy. I remember what he looks like, and he presented some great concepts to us, and he talked about some of the deadly mistakes that people make in boat shows or trade shows in general. And one of the first ones he's come up with is the particular display or booth where they got bags printed up. So they got bags printed up with their name on it. And they thought this is a great marketing vehicle because, if we have our name printed on a bag, then people are going to take that bag home. They're going to remember us. They're going to see our name, and maybe they're going to come back and buy a boat from us. So they have their salespeople, standing on the edge of the booth, handing out bags to people. Well, guess what? People would just walk by. They never even see the product that they had to offer because they already got something. They got a free gift, a bag. And then what did they do with that bag? They went to the next booth. And what did the guy in the next booth went? He'd go, oh, hey, have you seen our brochure? And they'd grab the brochure and they'd throw that in the bag. Or they'd hand out a business card or a flyer, or a catalog of their boats, and that would go in the bag. And then at the end of the day, that shopper who never met, a good salesperson ended up going home with his bag. And where did the bag of brochures end up? Hey, I know that a lot of you have probably been to some sort of trade show where you've collected brochures and catalogs and things. What did you do with those when you got home?
They went in the circular file.
Yeah. They went in the circular file. Yeah. And these days they go in the recycle bin, right? They never even get looked at. So what a complete waste of money. And also, what an inappropriate use. So what did this trainer, by the way, rest of the story, what did he suggest in the seminar is what he talked about and taught us was the principles of basically relating to people and meeting people. So began with eye contact. It began with a smile. It began with a question. What brings you to the boat show today? And then creating a conversation around that to find out what their needs and wants were. And guess what? We had record sales. We used to sell more at those shows than anybody else because those are the strategies. We didn't use plastic bags. We didn't hand out brochures. We didn't even carry brochures with us. We actually made people work for them if they really wanted them. We had them tucked away in back. So we took a very different approach. And yet, aren't we doing the same thing online now? Aren't we just kind of taking that same strategy? Oh, if I throw my brochure at people, they'll read it and then they'll want to buy from me. Isn't that what a website is really doing? And also when people talk about, people come to me, they come to Jamie, hey, I want to rank number one. I want to be number one in search. I want my website to show up. What are they really asking? The same thing. I just want to throw my brochure at people and hope that they buy. It's not a very effective strategy. Trust me, it doesn't work. Because what do we really want? Do we really want people to read our brochure? Do we really want people to read through our website? Not really. What we want them to do is to take action. All that information is there, hoping that people will read it to take action. But are we asking for them to take action? Are we doing any of that? Are we even giving them the information in such a way where they can take action? In most cases, we're not. And websites are obsolete because of that. So, when you think about it, this is the kind of the approach that we need to be taking. Is we need to be right up front. Here's who we are. Here's what our promise is. Book an appointment now. Give people the invitation to take action. So there are 4 actions that we typically want a visitor to take when they come to our website. We want them to click on, say, a submission form, to click on a book appointment, like on that previous website, to click to call, particularly if they're on a mobile device. We might want them to click to subscribe or to opt in or to fill out that form. We might want them to click to call, especially if they're on a cell phone. If we're in a situation where we have an e-commerce site, or maybe we even have a front-end product, if you're in the digital world and you're studying marketing all, the concept of having a front end and a back end product. So maybe we have like a $9 ebook or something to that effect, or something that introduces them, engages them, and gets them to participate with us. So we might even have a little e-commerce component where we have them click to order. So essentially there are 4 actions that we really want people to take when they come to our website. And the question is, are we allowing them to do that? Are we making it easy for them to do that? So let's talk now about the number one tool that a marketer has to get conversions. And of course, conversions means getting people to take action. So this is kind of it's a trick question really. And, but I'll go ahead and ask it anyways, because it's fun to play some games and to get you thinking. So what do you think the number one tool a marketer has to get people to take action? And I'm talking about not only on the, in the virtual world, but also in the physical world. When you think about your interactions with your prospects and turning them into clients or customers, what's the number one tool at your disposal?
Let me look at the chat here. Somebody's saying blog. I don't know if that's right. Is it asking them to take some action to like schedule a call or fill out a form? I'm not sure.
Okay. So we've got a couple in there. So, this is a difficult question, and maybe this will kind of switch your way of thinking. But I want to suggest to you that the number one tool you have to convert a prospect into a customer is your story. So if you were selling a commodity, so something that basically was just based on price, then your story would only have to be, I'm cheaper than everybody else. But you're not. You're selling a service, or maybe you're selling a product if you're on this webinar that's different. So you need to differentiate that. How do you do that? Through your story. And how do you build relationship? How does somebody come to want to trust in you and to answer those 4 questions that I presented earlier? They do that through your story. So that's the number one tool you have to convert prospects into customers, is your story. I'm going to ask you again another question. What's the number two tool that a marketer uses to get conversions? And again, I don't mean to belittle anyone's understanding here, but you never know. Somebody out there might have the answer to this. What's the number 2 tool? Do we have any responses, or have I scared everybody off now, Jamie?
No, I have testimonials.
Okay, so we've got a few testimonials.
Case studies or success stories.
Great. So really, I believe those are part of number 1. Those are part of your story. So what I'm going to suggest you do is the number 2 tool is your ability to test. And specifically, what we call in marketing is split testing. So this idea that what gets me better results. And if you're not testing A against B, then how do you ever know? You're only getting one side of the game. It's kind of like, the Blue Jays versus the Orioles. What's the score? The score is 5. It doesn't tell us anything, right? We don't know who's winning or losing if somebody just says 5. We need to know what the Blue Jays have scored and what the Orioles have scored in order to figure out who's winning and losing the game. Well, the same thing comes with our marketing. If we're not split testing, and even our story needs to be split tested. Is it too short? Is it too long? Does it answer the questions that people are looking for? As we tweak and we adjust our story each and every time, we want to test it. We want to change one element and then test it against the original, story, and see which one is the winner. So this is the number 2 tool that we have for turning clients or prospects into clients or customers, is this ability to constantly test our messaging and find out what's working and what's not, and what's the winning copy or the winning message. And we can do this throughout all of our marketing. So how do you do that? How do you tell your story with a beginning, a middle, and end? And how do you test a website that might be 10, 15, 20 pages where people have to click around? It's pretty much an impossible, not only is it an undaunting task, it's pretty much an impossible task, because there are so many different elements and you have no idea of knowing where you lost people or where to even begin testing. So this is just another reason to demonstrate why existing websites that are built as brochures are not going to get you the outcome that you want, which is to get people to take action. So these are the important things that we want to cover and we want to use in order to get people to convert better when they visit. So let me introduce you to this concept of a purpose-built website. And I want to specifically talk about this in terms of the idea of it. And I want to put a metaphor to this as well, as the shape. The idea is that it's a funnel. So a purpose-built website is a funnel that's designed to move the visitor into the sales process. So we begin from curiosity, from landing on your website, and bring them through into the sales process and the ultimate goal of the sales process at the end in a purpose-built website is to get them to take action. So it tells the story with a beginning, a middle, and an end, and it helps the visitor make a decision. And that decision is to choose you, to choose to contact you, to at least choose to reach out to you and engage with you to find out if you are the one that can solve their problems. Okay, so we take them through this in different, steps, if you will. And again, we want to answer some questions that they might have. So why are you different? What are your products and services? How are they designed to solve my problem? What's your reputation like? How do I know that I can trust you, that I'm not getting taken, if you will? Remember those questions they asked in the beginning. And then your value. How do you demonstrate to me that you're presenting good value to me in terms of solving my problem, that makes me know that I can deal with you, learn more about you, engage with you, instead of having to continue shopping? So what if instead of building a multiple page brochure and plunking it online and hoping that people read it and figure out how to take action on their own, what if we built a single page website that people could easily scroll through and that was designed to tell your story and convert prospects into customers? What if we did it that way instead? This is what I'm suggesting, the direction that we need to go in. So if we think about a purpose-built website, it's one page. And I want to, Jamie, I'm not sure, I'm seeing some clicks and some stuff here that sometimes people get a little hung up on this stage.
Yeah, some of the questions that I'm seeing here, are you talking about a landing page or a website? And I wonder also if you could address for me, the question that comes to mind is, are you suggesting that we scrap our whole websites? I mean, I know for me, I've put, so far to this date, 10 years of my heart, blood, sweat, and tears into it.
Yes.
Love my website, but I can definitely see the value in this.
Yes.
I always feel like as long as you have a clear call to action throughout your website, I mean, so I just want to make sure that you're not saying to me, you got to scrap that.
Right. So both of your questions there that came up are great. So first of all, no, of course you wouldn't want to scrap what you already have. Now, there's two reasons for that, and two purposes, if you will. One is you already have all that SEO benefit. Your ranking, Google has recognized your voice, they recognize your name, and that's really important. And so that's an asset that needs to stay there. But what you can think of is the fact, and this is also kind of a myth too, is many people think of this idea that I need a website. Once I have that, that's the only asset I need online that represents me. Or I might also have some social media accounts. But I want to suggest that there's an opportunity here for you to build a purpose-built website as well as having your old school website. Because the purpose-built website is all about purpose. It's all about getting people to take action. Think of your old website as maybe being like your resource center, the appendix to your business. So, what if people want to dig and learn more? It can also, you can also morph and transition your website, and I know you do this very effectively, Jamie, into kind of a back end office. So this is where, clients can come and visit. They can, leave you questions and information. Maybe you even have a login portion of your website where people come and they interact and they engage with you at that level. So there's lots of ways that you can continue to use your existing website. But what I'm suggesting is that a purpose-built website is another way of looking at it. Now, if you want to think about one of the questions, the first question that you mentioned there, though, was about a landing page. So landing page was kind of an old school. We used to also call them squeeze pages back, 10 years ago. So the idea with a landing page or a squeeze page was to provide a little bit of information to tease people in order to get them to click and to get them to move to the next level. So you might think about this as well as the idea that that old school landing or squeeze page is now obsolete too, and that this is the evolution of that. So it's the evolution of a website, it's the evolution of a landing page or a squeeze page into something that's new. And I want you to think about it this way. Many people get hung up on the idea, well, how do they find my information? Like, what if I don't have that where they can click around and they can find different pages on my website? But the idea here is, again, I'm coming back to the thumb and the scrolling. How long does it take you to scroll? A nanosecond. So that information is readily available. Think about when you're scrolling around, on, say, Facebook, and you see maybe you see something posted there and you go, oh, and you read a little bit of it and you think, wow, that's kind of cool. And then you keep scrolling and you're reading some other stuff. And then something comes to mind and you go, I want to see that again. how long does it take you to scroll back and find it?
Yeah.
Not very long, right? Just a few swipes and you're back at that post again. Well, think about your new website being the same way. I can navigate it very quickly and easily because I can scroll around on it very, very fast. I can go from beginning to end in less than a second. So if I can do that, how quickly can I re-find information that I'm looking for? Very quickly, very easily.
I have
And
a
again,
practical question for you, and maybe you'll get to it at the end. But
yes,
we have where would our new website reside? I mean, for example, upscaleyourbusiness.com.
yes.
So I guess, are you giving it a new domain? How does that work? So
Yes,
maybe.
what I would suggest is it depends. I mean, some people will be in a position where they just say, you know what, I hate my website. It's old. I think it might even be doing me damage. They might want to continue with,
Right.
they might want to use that URL and actually put a new purpose-built website on that URL.
Yeah.
Other people might be like you, where they're vested in it. They feel they've been working it, and they've got content and they've been putting fresh stuff, and they feel it's a real asset of their business. They don't want to let go. Keep that on that current URL, keep the SEO juice, we call it, there, and then have a new purpose-built website on a specific URL that you're targeting. And for that matter, you could have, because a purpose-built website is more dynamic, it's faster, you could even have multiple URLs. So it could allow you to, let's say, you've got a subset of your avatar that you're working towards. So if I can use you as an example, Jamie.
Yeah.
So let's say on the one hand, you want to work, you say, well, I work with executive coaches, but I also work with career coaches. So you could even have two purpose-built websites, one for executive coaches that tell the story about how you help an executive coach. And you could also have that, then modify that and have a different website that then tells the story about how you help a career coach.
Love it. You just
Okay.
gave me some really good ideas. Thank you. All right.
You're welcome. So the idea here is that it's one scrolling page, which, it obviously scrolls on, as long as you need to tell your story. Your story is clear. It's user-friendly because you can scroll through, you can navigate by scrolling. It's also purpose-built. So it's a funnel. It's drawing them in to your story and always, always, always getting them to take action. You're able to split test it very quickly and easily. So making it functional in terms of building it in blocks so that each block can then be modified just one at a time. So each block can be tested against another block. And you want a multiple of calls to action on a purpose-built website. Also, obviously, it needs to be mobile friendly because we know now that over half of all of our visitors that are coming to learn about us and coming to our website are coming from a mobile device of some sort. And it also needs to be designed to track everything. So it needs to track conversions and have good measurement analytics in it so that we can do retargeting and we can do all sorts of other fun marketing things with it. If you compare that to an old school website, multiple pages, the story's confusing. It's kind of like, you're asking people to click around to go, those who are familiar with geocaching, the idea of being on a scavenger hunt to find information out about your business. They're having to click around. Oh, where are the testimonials? Where are the reviews? Where are their prices? Where's the value proposition? Oh, what are their products and services? I'm clicking all over the place, and you're forcing me to try and create the story myself or to tell your story on my own. And that's hard. That makes it difficult and to navigate with all of this clicking. There's no clear action steps typically. It amazes me how many websites I go to over and over and over again, and there's no clear call to action. Typically, there's very little, if not no ability to split test on sites like this. Again, very few calls to action, and in most cases, they're not mobile friendly, even when they are, supposedly. So a lot of people go, or they say, oh, I did the Google test, or I did one of those tests, and it says that my site is now mobile friendly. And that's because maybe they're on a WordPress site and they updated their theme. That's not what we're talking about when we talk about mobile friendly. What we're talking about is go on a cell phone and see what it looks like. Because I'll tell you, if you've ever been to one of those websites that is supposedly mobile friendly, it has the headline, but then you have to scroll through 1,500 words of content to even find any information. That's not very friendly. Yeah. So we need to rethink about how we present information in a way that's, again, clear, concise, oriented in snippets and bites that people can take action on. Sorry, there was one other thing, Jamie, that you brought up that I wanted to mention, and it was in and out of my mind. But I forgot. I think at one point in time you asked me for an example, and of what something like this would look like. And I want to show you that because I do have an example I want to show you.
And also, I mean, maybe you were thinking about this, and because this is coming to my mind too. I mean, you could have your regular website, like the one that I'm so invested in, lead people to the purpose-built website and vice versa. So if they need to find more information, if you want to know more and you're not ready to click and take that action that I want you to take, then maybe go over and see my appendix of my business, so
certainly, you can have them in, and definitely you would probably want to link them together anyways, just to get some SEO benefit. So
sure.
I think there is value in doing that, and there's also some techniques for doing that appropriately. So again, that example, let's say that we use purpose-built website that's targeting career coaches, then you want that to link to the career coaches section of your existing website. Right. So again, you make the path and the storyline clear. It leads people very directly to the information they're looking for, as opposed to somebody arriving on your old school website and having to click around until they find information about career coaches. Yeah. Make sense?
Yes.
Great. So let's talk about, this idea that we've put together in terms of a block formula. So, a title navigation block is important. A cover block, always with a call to action on it. And your promise right up front. What are you promising? You need to know your avatar, need to know what they're looking for in order to make that promise. Another block with some of your services in it and a call to action. Testimonial, your reviews, take advantage of that, and maybe an offer. So there's another call to action. Your featured services can be listed. Then a case study, again, building your authority in the marketplace. How do I know that people like me got their problem solved by this person or by this business? A contact us banner. So there's another call to action. A myth block, which is really powerful. So the idea of a myth block is bringing up objections that are common, that you've heard before. So like the old sales tool or tactic is bring up the objection before the prospect has to, and then deal with it right up front. Great place to do that is in your story. Who are we? Give some history, who you're about. So a nice block on that. Your expertise, what makes you a pro? What makes you the expert in this field? Your team, who do you work with? Who is it that's going to back up this promise? Another testimonial block using your 5-star reviews. Another call to action block. An FAQ block, again, another great way to bring information up that maybe is bouncing around in people's heads. You know what the facts are. You know what those questions are that people ask you over and over again. Why not bring them up first? If you're a local business, or you have an office space where you meet people, your address and your hours so that people can easily find out where you are, and then of course a footer again. So this is the formula or the starting point of your story. And it gives us the foundation to then start split testing as we build your story around these different blocks. So let me jump though. There's kind of an example right there too, Jamie, by the way. I know that question came up as to, what one. Now, obviously, I'm not able to scroll because that's just a static image. But I was on a site the other day and I wanted to show an example of this because it just jumped out at me that this is exactly what we're talking about. Let me just pull this in for a moment. And by the way, are there any other questions while we're here?
Okay, so somebody's asking, well, let me see if I understand the question. One says, so how to engage with a one-page website? I think you're kind of answering that, but maybe if you want to take that any further.
Right. So that's where, you're engaging through, keep in mind, your purpose is to get them to take action. So you're engaging through the icons, through getting them to take action by calling you, click to call, or calling to order, or to sign up, or whatever, you want them to do on your particular website. So remember those 4 different ways that we want them to take action. Click to call, opt in, subscribe, order. Those are the different things that we could get them to do. And that's how we're engaging with them. We might even have them, for example, I know, Jamie, you have that 2-minute, questionnaire.
Yep.
Right? What do you call that? I'm sorry.
A 90-second inbound marketing assessment.
Right. So your 90-second inbound marketing assessment, there's a great example of getting somebody to take action on, we would call that a lead magnet, maybe, something that actually gets people to engage and then educates them at the same time. So powerful example of getting them to engage and take action.
Yep.
So anyhow, I came across this website. I've been looking at, I follow those of you who, follow internet marketing a bit, and I hope you don't follow it too much, because you need to be focusing on your craft and what you do best. And you need to be outsourcing your marketing, your accounting, all those other things, and become a true focused expert on what you're doing. And if you're a coach or you're a consultant, stop playing around and trying to become a marketer. So I'm going to be really blunt and direct here. You either make the decision, make the commitment. You either want to be the best you can possibly be as a coach or a consultant. And if you're really fascinated in marketing, then dump the coaching and consulting thing and join us. There's room in our industry. Come and become an expert marketer, but don't try and do both, because DIY is going to kill your business. Sorry. Yep. I digress. So anyhow, big fan of Frank Kern and a lot of the information that he comes up with. So here's an example of, this is a purpose-built website. It's a beautiful example of this. So right away, he's got information right up front. And what do you notice right off the bat?
Just a buck.
A buck. A call to action right in your face, right?
Yeah.
Try Carta 14 days for $1. It's right there. Why beat around the bush? And anybody who would know would be, Frank Kern. Of course, you can watch his little video here. He's taking advantage of video. Let's have a quick look. And I don't want to drag this out.
Brochure is available to you right now for
just he's got a whole long video here that you can watch that I bet not very many people watch. Maybe they watch a few seconds or minutes of it. Okay. But again, look at the scroll. Now, do you see anywhere to click up top? A menu?
No.
No? Do you see pricing? Do you see anything? No, nothing. So if we go through, his story here is all about, let's start this full access. So he's giving you his offer right up front. And count the calls to action. 1, 2. And then he starts to tell the story. What's he going to do for you? Done for you campaigns. Launch legendary campaigns, okay? So he goes down here. You can watch it done. So he's building authority here. Number 3, call to action. He's going to tell you a little more, right? Lead you in. Call to action.
But wait, there's more.
Wait, there's more. Call to action. And I believe I counted them, and there's 30 calls to action on this page. More video, right? More about his team.
Mobile device, yeah.
How you're going to be supported.
Yeah.
What if you have a membership site? More information. Call to action. Analytics, right? Talks about everything. Affiliate management. E-commerce, right? He's telling the story, and with a call to action in every block. Cloud-based. So he keeps telling the story and keeps asking you, just sign up, give it a try, right? See that? And I scroll and I scroll and I scroll and I scroll and I scroll. So the only option I have to take action here, to click, is to sign up for $1.
Yeah.
Right? Look at this, all the way to the bottom. There's his facts section, right? FAQs. It's all in here. And then in the footer, he's got, some other information where you can find out if you even get that far. Okay. So Jamie, you were asking, there's a case study example right there on a purpose-built website. Beautifully done. By the way, if you're, I would say, again, I'm a big fan of Frank Kern's, and his system in Carta is amazing. The only thing I would say about it, if you want to check it out, by all means, it is somewhat complex. So I'd say it's an advanced strategy. And also, if you want to use it effectively, you're going to need a substantial budget to really use it effectively. Okay. So yeah, it's $1 to get in, and then, you can go from there. But I will say that, and I won't say anything more about it, but you're of course welcome to go and check it out if you want. But it's advanced stuff. It's advanced marketing tools, and it's not for the faint of heart or the light of pocketbook. Okay, so let's, before I move forward though, because I want to talk about a beta program that we're doing. Jamie, are there any other questions that have popped up in the chat? Anything else?
No, but I'm getting some really great comments. This is really out of the box thinking. And this is awesome, Mark and Jamie, and something to consider. Good. Okay. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. So I appreciate that because you know, my initial comments when I started talking were all about, yeah, thinking out of the box and thinking differently. And, you know, ultimately what you want to come back to is you just want to ask yourself the question, am I getting the results that I'm looking for? You know, am I getting the leads? Am I getting the contacts? Am I getting the prospects that I want, that I need to not just survive, but to thrive in my business? And if you're not, then you need to be thinking outside the box. You need to be thinking about, you know, the next step, what you can do. And if you have some resistance and you have some, you know, you're kind of clinging to this idea, you're clinging maybe to your old website thinking, oh, damn it, you know, people should read my brochure and they should call me. Well, I'd ask you this, how does it feel to be should upon? Not very good. You know, that's old school, that's push marketing. What we want to do is create an environment that allows people, makes it very easy for them to get their questions answered and to take action. And these days, you know, with the internet, that needs to happen very quickly. People just don't want to take the time, or they don't have time to spend that hour and a half reading through all of your wonderful content. So that's the hard truth. So consider this. And if you want to consider this and you're excited about this idea and you're not sure how to move forward, then I want to make a proposition to you. And that is I'm starting a beta program with a small group of people, and we're building sites like this, just like the one I just showed you. And it's, you know, this is kind of a one-time thing. We're going to just be doing this for a period of time, and we're opening this up to help, you know, small businesses. Obviously, our goal is to, you know, get the maximum results we can for people that we're working with. Now, you know, it can cost thousands of dollars to do the coding and, you know, and to build these things out. But, you know, we're going to underwrite most of that. And I want to say most because I'm not going to say all of it. But, you know, we're going to dig in deep, and you're going to get, you know, all of the assets and all of the input and all of the work of a team behind this that's worth, you know, literally thousands upon thousands of dollars. And I'll kind of outline that in a minute. And if you want to join our beta group, there's a couple things I'm going to ask for in return. One, I'm going to ask for some financial investment on your behalf. I'll be totally transparent up front about that. And most importantly, I'm going to ask for your feedback and your participation, because our goal is to make this the most powerful asset that you've ever had, that converts and brings you a steady flow, that turns your online website into a marketing machine that continuously flows new leads to you and allows you to deal with prospects on a daily basis. So that's what we want to do. And the only way for us to be able to achieve that goal is if we work together and we collaborate on it. Now, when I say that, I want you to know that from a technical standpoint, from the building standpoint, we're going to do all the heavy lifting. We're going to do all the work. Your part in all of this is just simply to answer our quick questionnaires and surveys that we're going to send out every now and then, and to dialogue with us. So when you meet with me, have the occasional meeting with me, to give me your feedback on how things are working. Does that sound reasonable?
Yes.
Sound like a fair deal? Okay.
Yes.
Let me give you the bottom line here. So essentially, we're going to do all the research around your industry, and we're going to target that and find that, help you do all of that, so that we make sure that we're getting the most that we can and that we're hitting the niche just right. We're going to do all the storyboarding, the copywriting, like the website you see online here, visuals, graphics, images, all of that stuff. We're going to do all of that, so you don't have to worry about it. We're also going to set up lead notifications for you and an email confirmation that goes to anybody that takes action on your site, so that they get a nice auto response to any action that they take. So you're going to be in touch and be immediately notified when you've got a lead or a prospect. And we're also going to make sure that they know that you got it. So we're going to set that up for you. We're going to put a minimum of 7 calls to action and a lead capture on there so that we gather information for you. So we're going to build all that out. On top of that, as an added bonus, we're going to put a pixel on your website, and we're going to start tracking people who visit your website so that you can retarget those people. And that's something else that if you've watched our previous webinars, you know how powerful and how important that is. So we're literally talking about thousands of dollars of investment here. And what I'm asking for is for those in the beta group to help me out here by participating and chipping in just $697. So you pitch that in. We'll do all of the heavy lifting and do all the creation for you and make sure that you have a stellar purpose-built website that's going to get action. Not only that, but we're going to work with you to make sure that it converts. So that's going to kind of take me to part 2 of this, is what do you do after that once it's built? Well, we need to host it. So we're going to host it for you. We're going to do all the split testing. In other words, we're going to go in and swap out the copy for you and split test different versions of it and different versions of different blocks, and just keep fine tuning until we get the best possible results, which of course we never get the best. It's ongoing. We always want to be doing it. We're going to make sure that you have an SSL certificate. So this is going to be an HTTPS site. So those of you who are familiar with that and are caught up now and have that nice little, lock on your site that's secure and shows visitors that you're secure, we're going to make sure that's on there. We're going to provide reporting for you so that you know how many people are visiting. You're going to know your conversion rate, what's happening, so that you can actually start to measure your investment, find out what's going on, what many people don't have in place right now. Of course, because we're hosting it for you, we're going to have full virus protection and security all built in. We're going to make sure that that's locked down, and again, it's off of your plate. You don't have to have any concerns about hacking or anybody getting in there. And we're going to be doing daily backups of it. In case something goes down, something happens, there's a glitch, then we're always going to have a backup on hand. So we're going to do all of that for you. And we're going to do that for $79 a month, which starts after the setup, after we launch your site. Now, the bottom line here, there's zero risk on your behalf, but we do ask for a 6-month commitment. And the reason we ask for that is because it's only fair for you and it's only fair for us to let this run so that we can collect data and we can actually then prove how well this is working and give you some decent ROI so that you can actually say, hey, I invested this much and this is how many leads and prospects I got out of this. And then you will know internally what those are worth to you. Excuse me, a little tickle in my throat. And what kind of ROI numbers you're able to develop as you look at your business and your investment in this kind of marketing. So we did this webinar last week, and I'm sorry, pardon me. And we're almost full. We have a couple more spots. So we are taking more people on. If you want to join our beta, then I think Jamie's got a link she's going to put in here for us.
It's in there. You got a red button. It says sign up now. You should all be seeing. Oh, actually, let me hit broadcast. Whoops. Okay, there we go.
There it is. Okay, I wasn't seeing it, so
yep. So it's there, and while people are taking action on that, Mark, there is a question in the chat, so I wanted to pose it to you.
Yes.
One person says, what if I'm newly developing my business? Is it too early for me to have this type of a website?
Well, I guess the easy question to that is, are you ready to start serving customers? So, if on the one hand you're saying, I'm just starting my business, I'm new and my doors are closed and I'm not prepared to take on any new clients, then you could certainly have this built. If you think you're going to be ready in the next 30 to 60 days, then let's get started. Let's build this for you now. Yeah. Then we're going to probably look at, by the way, another thing that I didn't put in here is we're looking at about a 30-day, which is pretty fast. We're going to be looking at a 30-day creation or setup process here. So our goal, as always, is to get you performing as quickly as possible. So once we launch, once we get you into the program, we get your intake form filled out, then our goal is to have you live in 30 days. So in answer to your question, if you're ready to receive customers now, or you're ready to receive them within 30 days from now, then I would say you're definitely ready to get started. My question is, when are you going to get started? What needs to exist for you to get started? If you're a coach, maybe you feel you need to finish a certification or something like that you're not qualified or that you're not comfortable yet, that's fine. You need to determine what that number is in terms of a date for you to pull the trigger. But if you've got all your ducks in a row and you're ready, you don't need anything other than a phone or a computer to start consulting and coaching with people, do you? So I'd say there's nothing holding you back. You could take this on right now. And
I'll add in here as somebody who, looks at websites and has helped clients to develop websites. There's a lot of development that has to go on the client's point of view. You have to write all of your copy for every single page. If you have a 10-page website, there's a ton of copy. And if you're just not in that mindset and you're just ready to just get down and dirty and have some business and some leads coming in, then, Mark is kind of what he's offering here is you're simplifying the process. It's like, like just a little bit of copy on who you serve and how you help them and transformation that you provide to them. And then you just got to be creative in your calls to action. And I would almost venture to say Mark may consult with you on some of that,
Definitely. We'll be assisting you on all of that as well. And we're going to be making that simple. So you're so right, Jamie. over the years, I've done a number of sites. And one of the things that we do when we build a website now, websites range. I mean, the ones that I've done are anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000. But those sites you have to provide the content.
Yeah.
Like, we build it, but we can't write your story for you, in that situation. And that's what we're flipping that whole concept on its head, because we're saying we're going to do that for you. We're going to create that. You just have to fill out an intake form to give us those snippets, those pieces of information that we need to know so that we can effectively target and create that content for you. So that's what we're doing. And, and you're right.
Hiring a copywriter too. I mean, some people, I have some clients right now who are in the throes of like, I need a copywriter to help me write my website. So I think this is going to be a good fit for them as well.
Definitely. And like I said, we're not looking to make money on this. This is just to help to cover some of our hard costs. And to make sure those things are covered, because really where we're getting value from this is to be able to build this model to use those who sign up for a beta, for great reviews and testimonials, so that you can sing our praises and the success you're getting, so that we can build this into our products or services that we offer in the future. And believe me, they'll be at a much higher ticket when we pull all this together.
Yes.
So it's a great opportunity, and we're gonna keep this beta open for a little while. We may run a couple betas. I'm not sure at this point in time. I want to limit it. I just want to work with 5 people and get things rolling and build these out, and then from there we'll decide where we go. From there with it in terms of whether we offer another small group of people to run in beta as well. We'll see how that goes. But join us. And again, on the page there is the sign up now. Go ahead and click on that. Fill out your information, and then we'll be in touch with you in the coming days and put you into the launch sequence and get things going. Yeah. So that kind of wraps that up. The other thing I did want to mention, and I think you probably want to mention too, Jamie, is a couple things. One is we thrive on feedback. And as Jamie and I have talked about, and we both are very focused on, is building what we call a client-centric, feedback-driven business. So your feedback is really important to us. When this webinar ends, you'll automatically get a quick survey, a feedback page, and we really appreciate it if you'd fill that out right away. If you don't, we're going to bug you a little bit. We're going to send you a follow-up email. And so if you don't have time right now, when you get the screen that comes next, to fill it out, then please, we would be so grateful if you gave us feedback on the next page. The other thing I want to mention before we leave is the importance of being part of our group. This is the kind of content that's coming at you. Not all of it is going to have a beta program. Not all of it is going to have, this idea of joining and contributing financially. Some of the stuff that we do, a lot of what we've done is free, but want to really encourage you to join our success strategies group. And that way you get access to the library and the back end of everything we've done. So you'll get access to all 6 months worth of training. And you're coming in for free, and you'll be grandfathered, which means you'll never have to pay for a membership. But our goal is to eventually build enough content in here and to build the value in this membership group that this will become a paid monthly membership. So even when you sign up, you'll see that it's priced at $97 a month. But your coupon will allow you to sign up for free.
Yeah, I have a Get Access Now button showing, I think. Can you see it, Mark?
Yes, I can see it. Great.
So
Great.
Click on that blue button, everybody, and take advantage of it. I mean, why not? It's free. And believe me, don't just sign up because it's free. But I do want to say, take action inside there. Watch some of the previous, content. Take a look at some of the, there's some cool offers in there. Some are free, and but there's also going to be some DIY stuff. And, we're going to train you on some really key marketing strategies and all of that. So there's just so much there. But I don't, I'm seeing, we've had a couple of people who have signed up, and some people are really engaging with the content, and others are like, well, it's free, I'll just jump in, but they're not taking any action and they're missing out. So I just want to say to you, if you're going to join, yes, it's free, but come and engage, come and play and learn. It's going to help your business. Even just by listening to us, it will help your business tremendously.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll keep you on the path. And, as Jamie says, there's just a ton of stuff in there. There's some great, like one example that we did a workshop on creating your avatar. I think that was one where we got really lengthy. I think we
Yeah.
went long on that one, but the webinar is there, but also we included some amazing resources in there. There's a guidebook for you. There's some worksheets that you can fill out. It's all there. We put it all in there for free. So, you know, you can design, you know, get through and get your business focused on the ideal client, the ideal avatar. And this is going to help you streamline your marketing. This is what I do all the time, is help people say, how can we be more efficient? How can we throw away a lot of the junk? So instead of being hit and miss, we have a focused, targeted strategy, and we're only targeting those people that we really want to work with. That's what we try and help you do. Obviously, in our coaching and consulting, when we work with people, and you're going to get a lot of those tools that we use every day in the free program here. By all means, sign up, join us. We look forward to seeing you there. And you get access to the Facebook group too, which is a
Oh yeah, you do. You get access to the Facebook group, and it's set up like a dripped campaign. So every month you will get an email in your inbox saying, hey, here's this month's content. So we're not trying to overload you. If we threw 6 months of content to you in you know, one day, you'd be like, oh, forget it. So we give it to you in a way that you can digest it, you can consume it, you can take action on it, or you can wait till the next month and see if the content there resonates with you. So, you know, definitely take advantage of that. So
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we're probably at time, or maybe we're a little over. And I just want to say one more thing on that point too. As usual, Jamie and I always end up bouncing off of each other and continuing on. But I do want to say one important thing is that when you join the Upscale Success Strategies group, I want you to feel comfortable. We're not going to send you a barrage of emails.
No.
You're not going to get this inbox full of constant offers that are trying to upsell you or sell you products. That's not what this membership group is about. This is about a group supporting each other and helping each other release the full potential of their business and to upscale it to the next level. So that's what it's all about. It's not a pitchy program. It's not where you're going to all of a sudden, you know, every day get your inbox with a $99, you know, offer or something. We don't do any of that. This is a pure content program where, you know, we're trying to give you as much value as we possibly can. And I will zip it at that point in time.
No, that's absolutely true. And I was going to say something and then I just lost my train of thought, but yeah, it's completely that. So just once a month, you'll get an email saying there's content for you. And every month there's a live implementation call. So we have to create our dates for next year, but every month Mark and I are here to help you to implement or answer questions. And, you know, so that's the type of group it is. We're here to support, like he said. So this is, you know, we're not selling to you. If you know, whatever, if you find some way that you do want to engage with us further, then there's opportunities throughout, but you know, there's no pushiness about it. So anyway, Mark, thank you so much. This was so enlightening, this webinar. I love every webinar that we do. I always learn something, just like our attendees. And so I just really appreciate all that you bring to this community and look forward to continuing to grow it with you.
You bet. Thanks so much, Jamie. I will see you on the other end, and I will sign off, and we'll leave it at that, I guess.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.